Thank you all for being here today, and to the media as well for joining us here today. It's an honor to be here with our 12 ministers for Alberta Environment and Sustainable Resource Development, to have you all as our young ministers for the day. The annual event, as you know, celebrates the environmental passion and creative ideas of grade 5 classes students around the province. This year we received from more than 400 entries of students in 20 schools. Contestants shared many great insights and ideas about environmental stewardship and how to motivate Albertans to become better caretakers of our province's air, land, water, and biodiversity. All of the entries we received were creative and knowledgeable, and so we thank you for that. But the submissions of the students with us here today were truly exceptional, so let's give them a round of applause for that. It is very clear that these young people have an excellent understanding of environmental issues and clear ideas for action. They are the environmental leaders of tomorrow, but I would say they are environmental leaders of today as well, and environment and sustainable resource development ministers for today. Congratulations to Tanya Adams from Malmo Elementary School in Edmonton, Skylar Belchek from Banff Elementary School in Banff, Tristan Block from St. Mary of the Lake Catholic School in Slave Lake, Gabby Cortez from St. Elementary School in Edmonton, Caitlin Dawes from Vital Grandin School in St. Albert, Jacqueline Diep from Pembroke Meadows School in Calgary, Grace Fuhrer from Blueberry School in Stony Plain, Lexi Grattan from Eco Father Jan in St. Albert, Maggie Henniger from UCAS Elementary School in Adrossan, Laura Keller from Notre Dame School in Leduc, Kaylin Payne from Adrossan Elementary School in Adrossan, and Catherine Perry from Muriel Martin School in St. Albert. I'm so pleased to have all of you, and so grateful for the hard work that you have put into the work that you are to be Minister of the Day for today. So thank you very much, and now we'll turn it over to them for some questions.
Great. The first person. Can we get Jacqueline to stand up, please? And then Jacqueline will come to the microphone. Jacqueline, go ahead and you can ask the minister your question.
You have to put in a lot of time as minister. Have there ever been times where you have wished that you were doing another job?
That's a great question. Absolutely no. This is a great opportunity, first of all, to have been given the opportunity to serve as the MLA for Drayton Valley Devon, something I'm very passionate about, and then to have been given the opportunity again to be appointed as Minister of Environment and the additional responsibilities of Sustainable Resource Development. So there are lots of challenges and opportunities in the job, but I absolutely love the job every day. Thank you for that question.
All right, where's Caitlin? Caitlin Payne.
How did you become the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Resource Development?
Thank you. That's a great question. So first you have to run as a member of the Legislative Assembly in your constituency. So my constituency is Drayton Valley Devon. So I ran as an MLA, and we were elected just recently in April 23rd was the election. So first you have to win your seats for the party, then you win the election, and then the Premier Alison Redford, our new Premier, decides who she will pick for her cabinet. And I was fortunate and blessed to be picked to be the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Resource Development.
Good question. That's really good. Skylar.
When you were young, did you care about the environment as much as you do now, or has your role with the government influenced the environmental beliefs and values?
Great question. So, I grew up on our family farm in the Brazeau County area, and so environmental outcomes in our farm and making sure we were having environmental practices has always been part of it, and very important to me as a young person in school, just like you had the opportunity. We had the opportunity to learn as well about the environment and the importance each one of us makes individually and collectively. But certainly as becoming an MLA and becoming the minister, it's certainly brought to attention to me more the things that we need to know about the environment and what we need to do collectively and as a government to make sure that we're protecting the environment for your generation and for many, many generations to come.
Where's Lexi?
How do you go about getting various groups of people to agree to work for improving the environment even when it might be more expensive for them?
That's a great question. That's always a challenge, but I think first and foremost, the greater opinions and diversity we have around the table when we're looking at issues and different thinking that we have of everybody with their thoughts and sharing their ideas is really important for us. When we have all different thinking around an issue, we have that, we usually come out with better outcomes. So the first thing is to bring together all of those different opinions together, have a good discussion, a debate, and then come up with solutions that will find that balance to make sure that we're protecting the environment, but being able to afford to do so as well. But it certainly is very important to have a diversity in thinking and opinions to do that.
Tristan.
What are the environmental responsibilities of the government in a man-made disaster, such as the Slave Lake wildfire of May 15th, 2011?
Great question, and that was a really unfortunate and horrible disaster in Slave Lake. It's up to different roles of different departments in the provincial government and also the municipal government as well. We have worked very hard with our department of, at that time, Sustainable Resource Development, to be on scene with many of our wildland firefighters to make sure that the fires were controlled. We're there to make sure that we work with the municipalities and to work with the different agencies to make sure that we mitigate the fires as much as possible. Also, first and foremost is the safety of Albertans and citizens in the communities, and making sure that we keep them safe. And after the Slave Lake fire, we commissioned a report so that we could learn from that, because our department is about continuous learning and about doing things better. So we have a report that actually gives us good recommendations on how we could move forward if there was such another unfortunate event. So it's being on the ground, it's making sure people are safe, but also to learn from each one of those disasters.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Catherine.
What are Albertans doing to make sure that we protect our animal habitats?
There's many things within the Department of ESRD to make sure that the animal habitats are very, very important for us. We need to make sure that we work on the land, air, land, water, and biodiversity to make sure that wildlife and the lands are protected. And so in our department, there's many things we do. We work with other agencies as well across the province and groups to make sure that that happens.
Grace.
What plans do you have to help save our forests, which are one of our most important ecosystems?
That's a great question, and certainly our department in ESRD with regards to forest management agreements and making sure that as we maintain healthy forests, that we also have good agreements in place so that we're managing the forest well. Our agreements are long-term agreements where we look at 100 years out and see what will the forest look like so that we can manage where we do cuts for sustainable resource development. So we have a healthy forest industry, but that we're doing it in a way that is also sustainable for our watersheds. And so we work very hard with the department, work very hard with the forest industry partners who play a very big role in reforestation with us as well.
All right, where is Laura?
What have you learned from other provinces that we could do to make us more environmentally friendly?
That's a great question, and there's lots each province can learn from each other, and certainly, for an example, in the environment side is with plastic bags. When I was a parliamentary assistant in environment a couple of years ago, we worked with this, in particular the province of Ontario and province of British Columbia. They were ahead on this issue, and so many times we are leading on issues in Alberta, but when other provinces have already led on an issue, we look to what they have done and their best practices, and we try to use those to incorporate it. So we get together as ministers once a year, and we talk about best practices in different areas, and it's an opportunity for us to talk about the great things that are happening here in Alberta, but also for other provinces to talk about what they're doing and how we can learn from that.
Gabby.
So there's a lot of things that are like about nature, but what is your favorite thing about nature and why?
That's a good question. I think being able to have the opportunity, this is such a beautiful province, and to have the opportunity, our family loves to go out camping, and to be in nature. And we have the beautiful river valley, both in the constituency of Devon and then in Drayton Valley. And so just having the opportunity that the diversity of this province offers, it's so nice to be able to spend time in the nature and just to be able to enjoy all that Alberta has to offer.
Caitlin Daw.
What do you like most about your job?
My favorite part of my job is the role as the MLA with regards to being able to meet with people in my constituency and to meet with young people like yourself who are so bright, and we're looking forward to seeing your futures as you come as well. There's so many great people in this province and certainly in my constituency that need help through the government system as well, and so that's part of the job that I really enjoy as well, as helping Albertans through government processes and just getting to meet so many great people.
And Tanae.
What is the government doing to protect our water sources and make sure that there will be clean water for all Albertans in the future?
That's a very good question. And so we have a strategy in Alberta that's called the Water for Life strategy. A number of years ago, a minister developed that strategy, and we've been working through the outcomes of that strategy. As well as that, we are doing a lot of work with regards to water monitoring, especially across the province, but as well in the oil sands area, where we're doubling the monitoring for water, air, land, and biodiversity, and groundwater mapping. It's important for us to understand the groundwater across the province, and so we're doing a lot of work with that as well. We know that water is the most valuable resource that we all have in Alberta, and we need to make sure that it's there for today, but for many generations to come as well. So that's a great question.
And Maggie.
The government is encouraging all Albertans to help protect the environment. What do you do at home as a role model to help protect the environment?
Well, I'm a mother of four children, and they've all been through grade 5. And so every time when they learn, just like you do in grade 5 at school, they brought in different initiatives that they brought home that they want us to do. So we recycle at home, and we compost. We have low flush toilets, and we've changed our lighting systems as well so that we can do many things. And today my simple act is to do actually what we did when I was growing up in our family farm, and to have a rain barrel so that when we're watering our flowers in our garden, we'll actually use the rainwater instead. But we do a lot of different initiatives, especially that the kids have brought in home. And so I think it's really important in grade 5 that this is part of your curriculum, because when you do take it home, and which is very important, it starts changing the life cycles of your family life, and then that changes as you grow up too. It becomes just a way of life. When we look at what we used to throw away in our house for garbage, we have less than a bag full of garbage a week now, and the majority of everything else is recycled. So it takes a little bit of time, and it's a little bit of effort to get it started, but once you do it, it becomes really easy.